Hello, good afternoon. This is David Sutter talking to you, and today is my weekly trade predictions for the upcoming trading week of April 11th through April 15th, 2022. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is, like I always do, I'm going to look at all the major Forex currency pairs on a 30-minute time frame. Okay, and I do that only so we can see what happened this past week. All right, and then I will compare that to the higher time frames, such as the 1 hour and 4 hour chart. Okay, which is all you can see using my new magnificent trend indicator, right? So, and then using that indicator and based on my experience, I will try to give you my best analysis of what I think is going to happen this coming week, okay? So you can maximize your profits. So to start with here, we can see that the US dollar had gained this week. How do we know? Because right now we're looking at Euro USD on the chart and we see that it dropped, okay? And if the euro drops, that means the US dollar goes up, okay? And I'm going to show you that here in a few minutes that the US dollar did in fact go up. I was thinking the US dollar would go down, but largely this was due to the unemployment rate dropping with the non-farm payroll, okay? So since the non-farm payroll had a somewhat good report, I know the unemployment rate dropped, and that's a big indicator for the US dollar. So that allowed the US dollar to go up. But as we know in the Forex world, anything that goes up must eventually come back down. And I feel that the US dollar is getting ready to go back down, which would allow the euro, Great British pound, and the Australian dollar / New Zealand dollar to go up. Okay, so if you look right here on Euro USD, we clearly see it dropped this past week. And it snagged a blue arrow, meaning that it's going to be going back up. Okay, what this blue arrow indicates is a strong level of support. Okay, so does not 100% mean that it will go up, but this came in on Friday afternoon, so it's a very fresh signal. So meaning that, you know, it could potentially go down more. But as of right now, it's starting to go up, which is a good sign. If we go to the 1 hour chart, and we can zoom out a little bit, and we see that we did have a pretty nice drop this past week. Okay, actually from the 31st of March here. So the end of March all the way down to here. So we're looking at the last 2 weeks. Okay, the last 2 weeks the euro has been dropping, meaning the last 2 weeks the US dollar has been going up. All right, so with that said, everything goes in cycles. We know this, and it's definitely getting ready to go back up. How high will it go up? I don't know. Nobody knows. I would definitely get ready to buy. I would not necessarily place a buy trade right this minute. But if we look at the 4 hour chart, we get a bigger picture of the market, and you can see here we had 2 red arrows, and finally it dropped, and we had a nice support here, and which is in the same region. If we mark this candle right here, this will mark your strongest level of support, your lowest low, and we see that the price never dropped that far, meaning there's a very good chance that it could drop more, and this will repaint. The indicator will repaint to a lower position. So keep that in mind. Okay, there's nothing perfect in the Forex world. What you can do right now, if you want, is to place a buy trade. Okay, assuming this is going to be going up long term, and then in addition place a buy limit pending order below this, a few hundred points below, as a backup. Okay, so if the price drops further, you have the first trade in drawdown, but then you'll catch a second trade that will go in profit, and it will counter this first one in drawdown, if that makes any sense. Okay, and then eventually you have both trades going in profit. Okay, and you can wait. You can use the 1 hour chart or 4 hour chart, but you can wait until you get the next red arrow and then close it. All right, from this red arrow to this blue arrow, you're looking from the the 1st of April, 31st of March, 1st of April till now to the 8th of April. So wow, that's like I said, 2 week drop. So it might be another 2 weeks for this to go up. Okay, so we definitely have plenty of time to get into this trade, and I do feel like this will be going up here for the next couple weeks. So we're already into the second week of April. Now we're going to, we're going to be going to the third. It might last for the rest of the month. I don't know. Okay, it could go up some and then drop and form another blue arrow and then go up again, just like it happened here in the past. We had a red arrow, then another red arrow, and then finally drop. So we could have a blue arrow, another blue arrow, and then finally go up. Okay, it's very, very possible. We don't know what will happen, but we do know it's going to go up. All right, just be patient. Now, with next one is GBP USDK. With GBP USD, Great British Pound versus US dollar, we see a similar scenario. The price definitely did drop this past week. It was more or less riding sideways, but we definitely had a drop in the price, and now we snagged a blue arrow again. So meaning this one should be going up long term. If we look at the 1 hour chart, we get a little bit bigger picture, and we see the same thing, 2 red arrows followed by a blue arrow. If we look at the 4 hour chart, we see a slightly different scenario, but yes, the price went up, hit a red arrow, came back down, as you can clearly see. But what interesting here is that we had a strong support level here, but it actually broke slightly. So what does that mean? It don't mean a whole lot, but if that support is broken, it could potentially drop more. So I don't know. Like I said, this is a very fresh signal right here, so we have to keep that in our mind, that this could potentially drop more and repaint, indicator will repaint. If it drops further, I don't know how much further, because I can only see so far in the history if I zoom out, but history shows that we had 2 blue arrows here, but anytime we get a blue arrow, it's followed by another red arrow. Okay, so I feel very strongly that this definitely will be going up. How high, I don't know, but with these Great British Pound pairs, they are great because you can catch a lot of pips, a lot of pip movement along the way. Okay, a lot of profit. So again, you could place a buy trade right now and also put a buy limit pending order just slightly below, like 300 or 400 points below, to catch it if it drops even more. All right, and go back to the 30-minute, zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, you could place a trade right now, go ahead and place a buy trade, and then put a buy limit down here towards this green line on the support line. Okay, and that is like a backup safety. So instead of using a stop loss, that is your stop loss right there. So we just got to know that yes, this price is going to be going up, and really that's all there is to it. That's all there is to trading Forex. Moving on to Australian dollar versus the US dollar. Okay, now this one is very unique. We see a very similar happening. Okay, very similar fashion to what we just saw, but the price went up and came back down, as you can clearly see, except there's no blue arrow. Interesting. So what does that mean? Well, definitely means that the price could definitely drop even more. Okay, which is why I kind of say about the Euro USD, Great British Pound USD, that these could potentially drop even more, because this one could drop even more since there's no blue arrow. If you look at the 1 hour chart, we see we had a blue arrow here, but none here, which is interesting. Okay, so we could it already broke that support quite a ways, where the current prices right now are right on that support line here. So I don't really need to draw a line, you can see that. But the thing is, whenever you have a support broken, it becomes a resistance. All right, I hope that makes sense. And you see the price right here, the price dropped on these candles right here, hit that support and broke, and then came back up, hit the now resistance here. Okay, so it might potentially drop more. There's no guarantee in the Forex world. Right now it's just kind of just sitting here, and of course this is on a Friday afternoon when the market's almost dead anyways. But do pay attention that this will be dropping. I do feel strongly, however, that it will go back up because we had a nice drop. I don't know. If we zoom out on the 4-hour chart, we see we had a long uptrend here. So we could potentially have a long downtrend as well. So I would not be going buying anytime soon. All right. We do have a resistance right here. If I mark this candle, then we see that the price is right there. This candle dropped down. It actually broke slightly, but it hit this support and bounced back up. And if I drag this down slightly to right here on this candle, we see that boom, it lines up perfectly with this resistance, and now this support. So yes, it could go up. Even though you don't have a blue arrow right now, it could go up. Now what could possibly happen, let me shift the chart so you can see what possibly happens. Since there's no blue arrow, I do feel like it probably will drop further, but in the short time, like this week, it'll probably go back up, and then maybe towards the end of this month we'll see it drop and break this support. I don't know. If it breaks that support and drops further, how far will it go? I don't know, but here's a likely scenario. There's a resistance here, which also broke and formed a support here, and it's still a support right now. So the price could drop and hit this support level, and that would be the likely place you would see a blue arrow form. All right. So anyhow, just be careful. If you want, you could put a sell stop pennant order below this candle with like a 300 or 400 point take profit, and use that as your stop loss, and then place a buy trade now. That sounds kind of crazy, right? But you could put a buy trade now with a stop loss just above this support, and then also put a sell limit pennant order with a take profit and no stop loss. Okay, hope that makes sense. Or you could put a stop loss, but the sell stop pennant order would counter if this trade drops. If you place a buy trade now and it drops and you have a big drawdown and it actually hits that stop loss, you're going to lose money. But if you add a sell stop pennant order along the way, that would minimize your loss. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now that's just a what if this keeps dropping scenario. We don't know, but you know, I do feel that it probably will be going back up this week. How high will it go? I don't know. In any case, I would wait. Whether you're using the 30-minute, 1 hour, doesn't matter. I would wait for a blue arrow. Okay, I would not trade this until at least I got a blue arrow. So I don't know. It might happen Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We don't know exactly when we're going to get a blue arrow. But just be patient on this one, okay? If you want right now, just avoid this one trading, or just, like I said, wait until you get a blue arrow and then place your trade, okay? Moving on to US dollar versus the Swiss franc. So if those other ones have dropped, that means the US dollar has gone back up, which we can clearly see here. The thing about this one, again, has not formed a red arrow. Okay, so yes, we hit a strong level of resistance here and it started to drop. So this one is kind of interesting, and I want to show you something. If I use my Excalibur trend indicator, okay, oh, I don't have this one set up, but I looked at this one earlier on the daily time frame, okay, and there's a, you cannot see it right now, but there's a red arrow here, okay, which means that long term is going to be dropping, okay. And if you go back to my magnificent trend indicator, it only works on the 4 hour and below. If I go back to the 4 hour chart, we still have a blue arrow. Okay, so meaning that yes, this probably will go up even more, but in the bigger scope of the world, long term is going to be dropping. Okay, so it might take a few weeks for that to drop, and what I think is going to happen, this is just me because I'm not a fortune teller, but I think it's going to go up a little bit more this week, not that much more. I think it's going to be dropping. We probably see a slight gain. Okay, we have a strong resistance right here. If I shift the chart a little bit so you can see, this is on the 4 hour chart. We're looking for a red arrow. Okay, so in any case, I don't care what you do, wait for the red arrow on the 4 hour time frame or even 1 hour. That's why I like using this magnificent trend indicator I developed, because if you use the 1 hour, 30 minute, any from 4 hour and below, any time frame, you're going to get the same red arrow. Okay, so it's just that if you're on a smaller time frame, like a 15 minute, you're going to get multiple signals to buy and sell. Okay, if you look here, if I zoom out, you see you have multiple arrows to buy, which you could place multiple trades along the way. And we're still waiting for that red arrow. So I feel very strongly that this will be going back up probably in the beginning of this week, and then around the middle of the week we should see this drop back down. I hope that makes sense. Now let's look at US dollar versus the Japanese yen. Again, we see the price gone up, and of course this is a little bit different, but we see two red arrows in a row, and that's not uncommon to have a red arrow followed by a higher. It kind of sucks, to be honest. I hate when I see like this, but the good news is that when you get like this, the next arrow probably 90-95% of the time is going to be blue. Okay, there are a few instances where you have three red arrows in a row, but it's not too likely. So I do feel that this will be dropping. Okay, if this one's dropping, then USD/CHF should be dropping. All the USD pairs should be dropping here pretty soon. And again, this one could go up a little bit more. If you look at the 4 hour chart, zoom out a little bit, we can mark this level of resistance where we hit before, and we are not there right now. We're slightly below. So with that said, it could go up a little bit more. So just be patient. If you want, you could place a sell trade now and also put a sell limit pennant order above. You could put several. You could stack your sell limit pennant orders above. Okay, I call this my attacking the price strategy, which I have in a previous video. But basically, we don't know how high this will go. Murphy's Law would tell you if you sell now, it's going to go up more. Okay, but eventually everything's going to drop. Anything that goes up is going to drop, and we don't have that insider information to tell you exactly where and when it's going to drop. Okay, there are people in the banking system or government that know, because all this stuff is pre-planned somewhere. Okay, probably in a laboratory, I don't know. But if we all had the insider information, well, there would probably be no Forex market, because we'd all be billionaires, and all the brokers would be out of business, right? So anyhow, it's going to drop. Okay, so just be prepared. I would wait. If you're on a 1 hour time frame, it's fine. But if you look at the 4 hour, there's no red arrow here, which is interesting. Okay, we got one on the 1 hour, and like I said, you could place a trade right now, but this is such a fresh signal, I would probably wait until at least the New York session on Monday before we go placing any trades, just to see what happens. Okay, give us some time for the market to come alive after its weekend slumber. So definitely wait, or put place a sell trade now, but put multiple limit orders above. Moving on to US dollar versus Canadian dollar, last but not least. With this pair here, again, we see the price had clearly gone up this past week. Kind of interesting, right? Like I said, every pair has its unique pattern. No pair follows the same as all the others, but this one definitely gained this past week and has not formed a red arrow. So we can hold that in common with USD CHF, right? USD JPY has a red arrow, but this one does not. But if we zoom out, we see that, you know, we had a long downtrend here, and the price is going back up. So how high will it go? I don't know. If we look at the 4-hour chart, okay, kind of the same thing. We see the price starting to dip down right now, but don't think it's going to be a big drop, okay? I don't know, okay? I'm just showing you what we see right here. What I do know is there's a resistance here, okay? And support, resistance. So this is a pretty strong level of support and resistance right now. And as you can clearly see, that's a resistance at this moment. It hit this and dropped back down. Will it break? I'm about 99% sure it will. Will it break this week? I don't know. This week or next week? What will likely happen, and this is just, again, based on my experience. Again, I'm not a fortune teller, but what I think will happen is the price will drop this week, and then the following week we'll see the price actually break and go up more. So I would watch for this price to drop down half the week, around Wednesday or so, bounce back up, and then going into next week we'll see this price go higher. Okay, so this is going to be a lot different than the USD CHF, right? So I don't know. Like I said, every pair has its own unique movement. With the US dollar, Canadian dollar, they both run off of oil, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen, right? So anyhow, just be patient with this one. Do not place any sell trades right now. See, if you go on a 1 hour time frame, which is the default, what I recommend, wait until you get a red arrow. Okay, we do not have a red arrow. We had a red arrow here before, but it broke and it kind of formed like a double top, but it has not formed a red arrow yet. So do not place any sell trades right now. Okay, just play it safe for this one. Okay, so that will conclude my weekly trade predictions. If you have another currency pair that you want me to examine, there's so many of them, I don't care, but just hit me up on Facebook. Send me a personal message using the link below, okay? I'll put my personal Facebook in the description of this video. Also, I will put a link to my private Facebook group, and you can request to join my Facebook group and post any questions or comments in my Facebook group. That way, myself or other traders, we can all assist you and collaborate as a team, okay? That's my whole purpose of having this Facebook group. Also, I'll put a link for my new magnificent trend indicator, and I have a video there that you can go watch about that as well. Okay, so with that said, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Please let me know how I can help you, and thank you so much.